Hello, my awesome friends. Welcome to Project Management Mainline. The purpose of Project Management Mainline is to very rapidly distill a lot of the information that people read in guides, such as the PMBOK guide and other material. By the time we're done today, my friends, we would have gone through, I want to say, 20 hours of material in less than 15 minutes. This is a very quick seminar, but it's to help people understand project management from a new lens, to help you see the big picture in a new way. So let me distill what we're going to be looking at first of all, and then we'll jump a little bit more into the mainline proper. I created the mainline back in 2015, 2016, thereabouts, to give people a better idea of the 5 process groups and knowledge areas and the 49 processes. And I've been able to distill it down to these bare essentials. You develop a project charter, you identify your stakeholders for the project. Regardless of the project you're working on, these are 2 things that the project manager should always be thinking of, right? Project charter, project management plan, and your stakeholders. But when you read project management literature, it can be a little bit tough to put everything together. So what I'm going to do today is to help you put it all together, okay? I have a cheat sheet for you that I'm going to put in the chat shortly so that you can download the PDF of what I'm teaching today. And it's at tinyurl.com/, let's see, make sure it works, PM Mainline. Let's put that in the chat. And I'll put it on the screen so that you've got it. So even if you need to drop off, you can always put things in context, catch up later. All right. So there's the hot link, tinyurl.com/PM Mainline right there. Okay. All right. So like I said, this is not going to take that long. It's going to be a very quick session. So let's jump straight in and talk about the PM Mainline from this angle. So we have the direct and manage project work process, the monitor and control project work process, and there's a way that these interact. And that's really what I want to hone in on today, to show you the coming together of the mainline. Okay, so without much ado, let's go over to our whiteboard. And I will be sharing with you the coming together of the PM Mainline, which will save you a ton of time in your studying. Here we go. So let's come out of this and let's go into this. Okay, so real quick, this is how it works. It starts off with what we call a project charter. So we have a process, and we call this process develop project charter. Develop project charter is where you are developing a charter for the project. Develop project charter. This is where you develop a charter that authorizes the project, and it gives the project manager authority to apply resources to the project. Whether you're in the world of agile or you're in the world of predictive, project charters are quite common. Okay, so that's step one. We have 12 more approximately to go. But if you have questions along the way, please ask. Okay, the project charter gets developed, and then we have enough context to do a deeper analysis of who our stakeholders are. Because you might recall in PMI's literature, they talk about how you've got a stakeholder list at first from your project charter. That stakeholder list is going to evolve into a stakeholder register. So the next thing we talk about here is identify stakeholders. A stakeholder is an entity that could be impacted by the project or one that could impact the project. So our stakeholders should be considered quite seriously on our projects. Not only do we want their names, but we want to understand their profile, phases that they may be most interested in, deliverables that they may be most interested in, and things like that. Now that we're done understanding the development of the project charter, which leads to us effectively identifying our stakeholders, the next big thing is the project management plan gets created. Project management plan. Project management plan. The project management plan is called all sorts of things depending on where you learned your project management, but one thing's for sure, it guides the execution of the project, the execution of the work. And let's go into the belly of the project management plan, because in your project management plan, you want to have accounted for scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communications, risk, procurement, and stakeholder. And you also want to make sure that everything is integrated. We talk about integration as well. So your project management plan is a plan that integrates all the moving parts of the project. It's very important to us in the world of project management, especially for those of you getting ready for your PMP exam. Now you might wonder, okay, Phil, what's the connection between the project charter and the project management plan and the project charter and the stakeholders? Well, it's very simple. We have our project charter, which feeds what we're doing here, and our project charter, which also feeds what we're doing in our project management plan. Just knowing these associations can greatly change the game for you as you prepare for your test. All right, let's move on. So our project management plan is created, and then we're going to execute using this plan. So over here, we come to yet another process, and this process is called direct and manage project work. Direct and manage project work is a very important process because this is where the work is being done. As a quick note, let me remind you what is in this game for us here. We are going to get as an output from this process, we're going to get our deliverables. Deliverables are so important. And that is one of the reasons why direct-to manage project work has made its way into the mainline. See all these associations? What goes into direct-to manage project work is our project management plan. Okay? So the work is being executed, right? As the work is being executed, we are going to get an output of deliverables, and that deliverable is going to be checked by us. And it's going to be checked by us in a process known as control quality. Okay. So in control quality, this is where the deliverable that we just talked about, right? The deliverable is going in there for inspection in control quality. But we don't stop there because this is the performing organization in control quality. Instead, this needs to go up a notch to the customer. So we have another loop here and another process. And this process is called validate scope. I know lots of you are learning this stuff in class, but now you get the pleasure of seeing how it all comes together. Validate scope is where your customer is checking the now verified deliverable. Because if you do the inspection and the deliverable has been found to be good, what happens next is it has to go to the customer. So it's verified, classified as verified, which means it's passed our test, but now it's going to the customer. Something else needs to happen. What needs to happen? An inspection. What outcome are we looking for? Well, we're looking for an outcome where this verified deliverable, after going through the validate scope process and the customer has checked it, we now want an accepted deliverable. And that accepted deliverable is going to the final process in project management, which we call close project or phase. Boom, simple. And what do we get out of close project or phase? Well, when you close out a project or a phase in the project, you're going to get, so this is a terminal process, this is the end. But what you're going to get out of this is something we call a final product, service or result transition. Final product or service or result transition. So it's a bit of a mouthful, so I have improved on the mainline since I taught it to you last to just say final deliverable. Doesn't that make life easy for everyone instead of cramming all that? Mouthful, final product, service, or result transition. So that's one of the things that we get out. Okay, that's one. And then the other thing that we get out is a final report. So in the spirit of consistency, let's undo. Okay, and let's go back and do this in red because all the outputs have been red. So final deliverable transition. and a final report. And honestly, that's the high level breakdown of how it all works in the world of project management. Now, if we zoom out, we can say other things happen, right? So I'm just going to show you very quickly, schematically. Before we get to the development of the project charter, we have a needs assessment, right? That will take place before we truly know we've got a project. We will also be involved in a business case, creating a business case. We could also be involved in a benefits management plan before the charter is developed. All of this stuff happens outside the realm of the project. This is not project yet. Outside the realm of the project, we do these. When the project is authorized, we're now in a different world order. Other things that could happen on the project, we could have change requests coming in. We can have the processing of change requests, right? So change requests could be generated from anywhere on the project timeline. But when we get these change requests, they go to a process called perform integrated change control. So imagine we're getting change requests coming in here. We're getting approved change requests coming out, and those approved change requests are going to be funneled into direct to manage project work for execution. We also have additional concepts that could be surrounding direct to manage project work, namely quality assurance, which we call managed quality. That could also be affecting how our work is being carried out because we should be doing these quality audits. And remember, changes could come from here late in the day. They could come from here. They could come from here. They could come from anywhere. Okay, but I want you to keep your eye on the summary of everything that we're talking about. So let me get rid of all of that because I don't want to mess up the image too much. But there's a summary here. If you take a look at the line of best fit, this is from integration. This is from integration. This is from integration. This is from integration. 1, 2, 3, 4 things from integration. Makes a compelling argument for integration, right? Yeah, yeah. So as someone getting ready for the PMP exam, keep your eye on the main line. And in addition to keeping your eye on what I just showed you in this world of the main line, I'm going to close by showing you a more elaborate view of the main line just to help your preparation. For those of you just come in, if you have not downloaded the document, please download the document. tinyurl.com/PM mainline. It's going to take you to where you can download the summary of what I'm showing you. I'm going to conclude by showing you the full mainline. So I kind of gave you the pre-work mainline. Now we're going into the full mainline, and we will close for the day. All right, so let's jump straight into it. This is the full mainline. For those of you who've said, oh, PM stuff is too heavy, I need a distilled version. Well, this is an answer to your prayers, my friends. So the project charter is the very first thing that we create in the develop project charter process. Then that becomes an input to identifying our stakeholders. We get a stakeholder register. We also put our project charter into the creation of the project management plan. The project management plan becomes an input to directing and managing the project work. You can see these jokers there on the main line. They're supposedly working, but looks like they're having too much fun. Charlie is just such a funny character, but that's for a different day. But you get the idea, right? The work is being done. We're directing and managing the project work. We're going to get work performance data and deliverables as outputs. And then, like I showed you, we get to control quality. And this is where we are checking the deliverable ourselves before it goes to the customer. There he is again, making a fool of himself. He's doing some testing. I think he's testing chocolates or something, whatever he's doing. But anyway, the deliverable is going to be checked, and it's going to be guided with the project management plan telling us how to control quality. If it passes the test, we're going to get verified deliverables, and that goes to our customer. And our customer is none other than this guy. Another character, quite a character, Mr. Bean. He says he likes it. Okay. Mr. Bean likes it. Well, that means it's passed the customer test, and then it becomes an accepted deliverable. That goes to close project or phase. From there, we get our final report and our final product, service, or result transition. And from his strange mannerisms, very creepy there. But I think he's saying goodbye. We did it. That's the end of the main line. But that's not exactly the end. There's a little bit more. So the reason why I call this a main line is the project management plan is the fuel that goes through the main line, helping all the other processes know what on earth they're doing. All non-integration monitoring and controlling processes, they give us change requests, and many other processes do, but these go to perform integrated change control. The project management plan also goes to monitor and control project work. And this is where we're going to get our work performance reports that could guide whether we approve or reject change requests. We also have work performance information that are fueled, as you can see over here. Let's use the highlighter. Over here, you can see there's some activity going on, because when you have work performance data, which is also part of our mainline, it needs to be processed. So if you take a look here, look very carefully, I have work performance data. I'm going to highlight that. That goes into all of the non-integration monitoring and controlling processes. It gets processed and we get work performance information, and that's how we get our work performance reports out. The project management plan, also part of the main line, it's fueling these processes where we're getting intelligence as far as how to get our project back in alignment. And that's really the thesis of the main line. To close, we have managed project knowledge, where deliverables also goes. So we have deliverables going to manage project knowledge. We have deliverables also go into control quality for various reasons. But when all is said and done, you got to look at the cheat sheet that I sent you. There's a legend, and it's just a legend of sensibilities of, I have a process, I get an output, I have a second process, and then I get an output. And that second process will go into a third, and that's really the name of the game, okay? I hope this made sense to you, my friends. I hope it gave you context for your PMP prep. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. But it's about that time. I need to scram, and I need to call it a day. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I will be speaking to you very soon. Thank you very much, and bye for now.